Hello and welcome to the first Manx Footy Pod of the 24-25 season. Today we'll be reflecting on Tuesday evening's Football Writers Awards, where Gale and Nick Hurt were among the winners. We've got interviews with both of them, so stay tuned to them shortly. After that, we'll be looking ahead to the new Manx football season. We've got a quick interview with Upfront Footy's Dean Turton, that's easy for me to say. Plus, we have a look ahead to all this week's fixtures. In a slightly strange setting, it has to be said. Right, stay tuned for all that coming your way.
So, Gale, we're here at the Football Writers Awards, and you've won the Gordon Clegg Award for Player of the Season. First of all, how much of an honour is that?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Second time I've won the trophy, and yeah, fantastic.
It's a bit of as Andy said earlier, it's a bit of an interesting one because it's so close to the new season, and we're talking about last season now, and it feels like ages ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Almost feels a bit weird. The fact that I'm sat here in my new club kit.
I was just going to say, the biggest thing here is Gale has arrived and he's in a full Foxdale tracksuit. You're here, and my main question is, I think everyone kind of knew it was written in the stars, your return to Foxdale, but why now?
Well, I promised them I'd go back, but obviously got a couple of things on this year. I am going to miss a good chunk of the season and might never get the chance to do it again. I've had 16, 17 amazing years at Peel. And yeah, you can't play footy forever, and I'm not going to go back on that word.
Was them coming up to Div 1 a big factor in that?
Yeah, massively. As I say, I said to them when I left when I was 14, I was like, if you come up, I'll definitely come back.
And how many of the lads that were there at Foxdale when you were 14 are still there now?
Betty, Liam, Craig, Scotty, Twanna's obviously the gaffer. Just trying to think.
You don't want to forget anyone?
I know. There are a few. You put me on the spot there.
But you must be excited to play with them again. How much are you relishing the season ahead? Foxdale, it's the first time, I don't even know in how long, it's ages since they've been back in Div 1. They must be buzzing to go back up. It's been a while coming. They've gone close before. What's pre-season been like, and how hopeful are you for the season?
Yeah, pre-season's been really good. I mean, I've only played 2 games. Obviously, we played Laxey at the weekend and won 3-1. We played Youth League the week before that and won 8-1. And already there's like little partnerships that have already started. I definitely think there's enough for the boys to stay up and like definitely challenge and cause a few upsets. We know who's going to be at the top of the league. I fully anticipate Peel to be up there. I anticipate Ayr to be up there. And I think Ramsey will probably knock on the door. But I'm really looking forward to Saturday against Russian. I honestly think we can, after how we performed against Laxey at the weekend, I think we can put a good account of ourselves.
Were you almost surprised going back to Foxdale, maybe seeing this? I know that you've played with Peel, you've played with these, you've gone for titles year after year, and now you've gone to a club that's newly promoted. Were you almost surprised at the standard of the boys at Foxdale? Or did you know you were going to come back in and it was going to be great?
No, they can all play football. The big thing is, and they won't mind me saying it, is fitness. Fitness is key. I mean, if you look at teams over the years in Manx football, the fittest team wins. Yeah. Not necessarily the best team, the fittest team. And you boys will have seen that in years when you've had to dig deep and stay up, even when you're in Division 2. There are some really good footballers up at Foxdale, but ultimately it comes down to fitness. And if you can outrun a team 9 times out of 10 in Manx football, you'll beat them. And
the big question is, how many times are you going to make an appearance in the Baltic? Because Barton tells me there won't be that many often. You won't be going back after a game.
I'll be there every week.
And will you miss this part of it though? You know, yeah. Peel, I know it must have been a big decision to leave Peel.
Yeah, it was massive. Like, even like now, like you get nervous coming back because like they're your mates, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I want them to do well. I want Peel to win the league. It's like that's the club that I've always, like with Foxdale, like you go to school, you aspire to play for Peel, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So there was no, like, on my terms, there's no bad blood, and I'd like to think not on the way out. Yes, there's a little bit of banter and stuff like that when you first go, but the boys are all pretty, they knew straight away, so.
There probably wasn't bad blood until you wore the full tracksuit tonight, Gale.
As I say, that's not my fault. That's your boys for leaving it too late.
Yeah, fair enough. And was there, so you're going travelling, aren't you? When is that? That's the big question. How long are you going to have? How many games for Foxdale are you going to have?
I think I've worked it out. I play the first 9, go away, come back, and then depending on how many games Foxdale have called off.
fair comment.
Might get like the last 6 or so in. I think it's something like that anyway.
Well, best of luck for the season and enjoy your travelling. Cheers, Gale.
Right, Nick, great night evening. You've got picked up the Manager of the Year. It seems odd talking about it with only a few days to go to the start of the season, but you must be delighted with that, reflecting on what you achieved last season.
Yeah, it's good. Individual award of Manager of the Year is amazing, again, with Ayr United. So, I think I've got to say that you don't get these sort of awards without the lads. You know, the lads, the committee, everyone's put a lot of effort into achieving what we've achieved. So it's more of a club award, I would say. So it's fantastic that Ayr United are on the map and doing so well.
And how are things looking ahead of the big kick-off on Saturday? Obviously, you always have a bit of a target in your back because the reigning champions, don't you? But you guys relish that?
I don't think we're used to that. I don't think the players are used to that. It gets harder to sort of go again, refocus, push on. We've had probably 3 friendlies. We've done okay. We've had a couple of good signings this season for... we've had Lewis Moran from Peel, who's a great signing. And then we've had Leo from Russian, Leo Thagura. He's a good young kid. I think he's trained with FC Isle of Man, so we'll have to see what his priorities are, because obviously we're not having both. He's either playing for us or he's playing for them. So, but he's a good young prospect. But apart from that, we've kept everybody else. So yeah, we should be pushing on and trying to be in that top 4 again.
I've often wondered with the transfers in the close season over here, is it the case that they approach you, or are you going out and thinking, that maybe need to strengthen in that area?
I think it works both ways, really. There's a bit of both going on. So the problem is when you're successful is certain lads don't really think that they're needed at your club. So we struggle for numbers at times because, like I say, you don't exactly get 6, 7, 8 new players walking into Ayr United because they think, you're league champions, you've won things, and you maybe don't need any more players, and it couldn't be further from the truth. We do struggle for numbers at times, so yeah.
Obviously you guys are going to be up there again this season. Who else do you think will be there or thereabouts?
Yeah, difficult question. Particularly tonight, it's quite funny that, it's not funny in terms of Peel's perspective, but Lee Gale's gone to Foxdale, Lewis Moran's gone to Ayr, obviously, so I think Peel will maybe struggle to score as many goals as he did last season, but I think they'll still be up there as they always are. I was really impressed with Russian in the Charity Shield the other week. If they play like that week in, week out, then they're certainly going to be pushing. Laxey are the unknown in my eyes. You just don't know sort of what Laxey team you're going to get, but when they're on it, they're as good as anybody. And then finally, I think Ramsey have seemed to be sort of getting better and better over the last sort of 3 seasons, and I think this season they could maybe push on and be a real pain in everybody's backside. So I would tip Ramsey as a very good outsider.
Well, thanks so much for your time, Nick, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no problem.
So we've just had the Football Writers Awards, and I'm here with Upfront Footy's Dean Turton. Dean, good to see you.
Good to see you as well, Tom.
So I just want to first of all mention this trophy that you've got. Tell us a bit about the initiative this season. Every month there's going to be a Player of the Year.
Player of the month.
Player of the month. Sorry.
How many? He's only had 2 pints, and he took his Player of the Year.
That's how it goes.
This is how it's gone already.
And show us the trophy, Dean.
I'll let you hold it, Tom, because it's the closest you're going to get to one.
Fair.
But yeah, that's the trophy. It's
quite heavy.
Yeah, it's a Premier League replica.
Yeah.
It's sponsored by H&H Motorcycles, who've come on board, so big thanks to the Harrison family for sorting that out for me.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be one in the Premier League, Div 2, and the Women's League as well.
No combi for me?
No comment.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's what it's going to be. That's why I let you hold it tonight, because it is the prototype one, so I might let you take that home one day, Tom.
If I'm lucky. But
around Melia, maybe?
Oh, that'd sell for a lot.
How much would you buy it for, Tom?
20 quid, probably, if I've got it in my bank account. But no, more importantly, Dean, let's get down to the seriousness of it. Upfront Footy's now flying. It's doing very well. People love it. Yeah. People are in it. Tell us where it all came about, why it started, and this type of thing. Is this always what you wanted to do? This maybe getting it all involved?
Well, not really. I played for a little bit. I was crap. Coached for a little bit. Won a few trophies in the Combi League when we were coaching and stuff like that. Went on a first team. And then got a ban for calling Willie Cowley a name I probably shouldn't have. After that, it was a bit like, I can't be doing this every week. Calling Willie Cowley names and getting fined hundreds of pounds is not what you want to be doing, and getting I think I got a ban from all football and activity as well for about 100 days. So I couldn't really do much, to be honest, Tom.
Oh, that's hard to do, can I just add?
Yeah.
100 days.
Yeah. So,
But you wanted to stay involved in the local game?
Yeah, so I wanted to stay involved in the local game, and now I've just gone out and, as everyone's seen, I'm a little bit honest about football. I don't hold back. You know, if someone's had a good game, they've had a good game. If they've been crap, I'm going to tell them they're crap.
Absolutely, and I've seen the response on the comment stuff. People are loving it. But how does it feel for you when you get all these nice praise and this stuff like that?
I'm not in it for the praise, mate. I'm just in it to stay involved in the game, and that's the God's honest truth. Like, if I wanted to be involved in it even more, then I probably could get a bit more involved. But I do this in my free time, mate. Yeah. It's not something I get paid to do. Do you know what I mean? It's just my way of staying involved in the game.
Absolutely, and I think I speak on behalf of everyone in Manx Football when I say it's great stuff. I know we do a fair bit, but nowhere near as much as you, and I think it's working really well, especially this type of stuff that I won't get my hands on, but it's very good.
You won't get your hands on that, Tom.
But honestly, I think it's very good for the game that we get more and more media involved in it. Where do you think, I know you haven't done your predictions yet, Dean, I'm not going to ask you about that, but how do you think the season's going to go? Can you give us any rough ideas?
Some people will win games, some people will lose games, Tom.
Yeah.
I think there may be a draw now and then.
Yeah. I don't know, Manx Football, there'll be no 0-0s, can we add that?
I think there will be a 0-0 this season.
I think there was last year, you know, a couple, and it still staggers me when that happens.
Could be Combi 2, you know, Combi 2 throws up some weird results.
It does.
Could be 14-0 to one team next week, they're going to draw 0-0 next.
Yeah, exactly.
It's possible, Tom.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Are you going to try and, you just mentioned earlier, you're going to try and cover every game, every team, sorry.
Every club again. So last year I covered every club, 27, including FC Isle of Man. I'll do the same this year. I've already covered FC Isle of Man this year. I've done air and rushing in the thing, but yeah, every club, that's it.
Perfect. And just finally, I know you've got your first 6 games planned out and all that, but just finally, is there any one game one game that stands out to you every season? Is there one game you really want to go to, one ideal fixture?
You know what, I don't really have one. I like the meaty one, so something maybe in like Div 2, maybe a Daft Capulli, something like that. That's
Springfield Derby.
Yeah, a proper game of football on a bog. You know, there's cabbages growing out the field. There's potholes in it.
Yeah.
That's Manx football to me, mate. It's not, you know, these lush pitches and things.
I mean, we're in a lovely place here, and this to me is Manx football's gone up, hasn't it? With
mate,
this
you look at Peel's ground now, like people won't see it yet, but you probably get a video of it, like, oh, mate, it's quality.
Yeah.
Get out there and have a look at it. Like the work they've done in fair play to Peel.
Yeah.
You know, I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of investment, but they've done it.
But just down the road, there's a nicer pitch on the. If you just. No, that's off to the Hope, isn't it? Moran Football Club, I should add, Old Church Road. But no, thank you very much, Dean, and I'm sure you'll have a great season. But cheers for all the work you do.
Cheers, Tom.
Top man. Thank you very much.
Don't lose the trophy.
I'll keep that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Right, we're on the way back from the Football Writers Awards tonight at Peel. There's a tremendous Kelvin Dawson hub. We all had a good night tonight, didn't we, lads?
We've had a very good night. The pints were flowing, as I'd say. Andy's not had a pint, like I can clarify to the audience.
So we're driving back into the bright lights of Douglas via the God's own parish, shall we?
Yes, of course we are.
So we thought, while we've got a few minutes to kill, we'd do a look ahead to this weekend's fixtures, Dave, starting in the Canada Life Premier League with...
We've got the Western Derby, Peel versus St John's to kick off.
So we're actually, the picture we've just been looking at, it looked in good nick actually. Did you see the lads out painting it, the surrounding painting
it's
the pitch?
It's always nice to see, I think, players helping out. Do you know what I mean? The committee is there for that, but it's always nice to see a few of the players. There's a few youngsters there, and they're all painting because they know that that's the type of stuff that goes unnoticed at Manx football clubs, isn't it, I think?
Yes, so they were painting what do you call it, surrounding wall?
Yeah, so it used to have some signage on it, but they're just painting it, I would say a red shade, but I think it's more maroon, probably because they want to be us, they want to be Moran, I get that.
Not that you could ever see anything other than maroon, Tom.
Yeah, I don't really know what red is. I
just want to point out, my driving isn't this bad. It's just that we're having problems stabilising the phone on the dashboard. Anyway, this seemed like a good idea when I thought about it. But let's talk about the football.
And also, this podcast is brought to you by motion sickness tablets.
yeah, maybe don't watch this one. Anyway, Western Derby, cracking game to start the season with. I think this looks like a Peel win to me. Obviously, they'll be wanting to put a marker down early doors if they're going to maybe title challenge. Dave, St John's, though, you always up your game for a derby, especially as we're driving between the two as we speak, aren't we?
Yeah, well, we better be nice to St John's because otherwise Sam Brown will come after us. But I think it's been a bit quiet on the transfer front in terms of St John's. Peel, we know, have lost a couple of players, but they've still got a good squad there. So I think you're right. They're going to be favourites for this game, but I think it's going to be closer than some people think.
One of those players that has left was crowned as Football Writers Player of the Year, the Gordon Clegg Memorial Trophy. Lee Gale, he's gone to just up the road to Foxdale. That'll be a big loss for them, Tom, won't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I think Peel, they've not brought many in, and they've lost a fair few, but saying that, they've still got a young, very good squad. And one of the other winners tonight was Thomas Brown, of course, the under-21s Player of the Year, and he's only 20 years old. He could still win it again next year, and he's always going to be a threat. The likes of Taylor Andrews, him. They're going to have... Peel are always going to be strong. There'll never be a season where Peel aren't strong, and I think this one, between Peel and St John's, it'll just be Peel, but it'll be closer than you think, because I think teams like St John's, the Western Derbies, no matter if you're a weaker side, you get up for it, don't you? You do.
Well, a player that's played for both teams, Rhys Oates, good to see him training again tonight, Dave. Obviously, he's had his injury problems in the past, but he was looking in good nick, and he'll be a massive player for them this season.
Yeah, if he can stay fit for a full season, I mean, you know you're going to get a Golden Boot contender out of him, and also he's good at set pieces and things like that. So, and he's just the sort of player that just, not to put a cliche out there, but strikes fear in the heart of defences, doesn't he? And I think he'll be a massive plus for them. So yeah, he's definitely one to watch. You're right, Andy.
Yeah.
Anyone for St John's to look forward to, Tom?
Well, Joe Savage got injured in the game against us. He had a bad concussion injury, but he's always the one that I'll always say, yes, he's my friend, but but I'm not just promoting him for that, because I'd love to tell you he's a bit awful, but he's always a problem for the defenders. Kean Brock, if he's fit as well, good striker up top as well. I don't really know much about their transfer activity. We'll know a lot more when 451. Well, 451 will be out actually when this comes out probably. But
there were rumours that Paul Whitehead was going to.
There was, yeah. And it looks like he might be staying at Peel this year. So.
Oh really?
Yeah. The fact that there's transfer activity between these two clubs is remarkable. You wouldn't see an Everton-Liverpool transfer, would you, anymore? So.
not since Nicky Barmby or Abel Xavier.
Yeah. Was he the last one?
Potentially.
Oh wow. Oh, now I'll give you
what we haven't heard though is that one of Andy's sons might be switching allegiances from Everton to Liverpool. So
yeah, we're not talking about that.
What's next game, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's just I think just clear it up there. So I've said Peel win. You two?
Yeah, Peel win, but close.
Yeah, exactly. Peel win.
Next game, Dave?
Well, we'll go to the home of the champions. We'll go up north to Andreas. So there's a bit of a tough game on the cards for United. They're at home to Laxey.
Oof. Well, we've just been spending quite a lot of time with the manager of the year, who's Nick Hurt, who helped the Tangerines to get some silverware last season. He seemed, I'd quite bullish about his chances this season on the sly. Would you agree?
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. And I think this will be a good early test for them, but you can't know that he was sort of talking about they haven't really lost anyone. They've brought in Lewis Moran from Peel. He's got goals in him if he doesn't get sent off. But yeah, they look like they've kept most of the big players that got them that league title last season, Dave. So I think you can't really look past them for me.
No, I think you're probably right. Hurty was saying before they've had a couple of injuries in pre-season matches, and there's some fractured ribs that Tom can relate to. But yeah, so they've had a couple of injuries, so it's not all been plain sailing. But yeah, I think you're right. Bullish is the right word, but I think they're still positive that they're going to have a good season here. Laxey, again, we don't really know much. Not to sound clueless or anything, but we don't really really know who they've signed.
The problem with Laxey is we all tipped them to do really well last season.
Yeah,
and they didn't.
It didn't really happen, did it? So maybe this year going under the radar a little bit. I know when we had Johnny Palmer and Tom in on the podcast early last season, maybe that flying under the radar will suit them a little bit. But if they get a result this Saturday, they'll be back on that radar, won't they?
No, absolutely. And I think Laxey are one of them. They brought that many players in last year that everyone kind of had to tip them to do well, where this year maybe their transfer activity's been a bit more quieter. Maybe they've lost a few. No, I don't think they actually have lost a few. I think maybe a few, not lost to another club. I just think maybe Laxey have maybe a few going travelling, I've heard, and stuff like that. But I think Laxey will always be strong-ish. They've got a fair few players, obviously the likes of Mion and Cam, Judas.
Let it go, Tom.
Yeah, it's a new season, it's a new podcast. I'm still writing the same record. But
this is what he's saying on the podcast, but behind closed doors, he's been bigging up Cam all pre-season. He's tipping him for Player of the Year, I think.
Yeah, I am. Just as a laugh, really, though. But no, I think it'll be a closer game than people think. But I think air this season. I think because so many people. Oh, and there's the camera gone, Dave, and there we go.
And we're back.
That's
We're professional here, guys.
you wouldn't see that in like what is it? James Corden does the drive-alongs, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And we're getting close to Glenvine. We've done 2 games here.
Yeah, I might have to drive around the block here.
Just pull up in the Crosby.
Okay, quickly, we'll go. Well, since we're here, we'll go with Moran's game. They're away.
Oh, we've not confirmed the Lax yet. Air. Air. Are you saying air? Sorry, Dave.
I'm saying air.
Yeah, I'm saying air, but I wouldn't be surprised if the day. Well, I've actually, you at the start of this 30 seconds ago, I said I thought it'd be air, but having thought about it, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dave North Memorial fence comes out for the first draw of the season.
Well, as scared as I am of Johnny Palmer, I'm sorry, but I am going to have to go for an air win, but it's going to be close.
Yeah.
I think Laxey will be one of the teams to watch this season.
Now let's head to the game of the day.
Well, okay, so D&D? No, sorry. So, yeah, Bala
Matt's
Fletcher.
going to be fuming.
Bala Fletcher. So it's the game that you're going to be at, Tom.
Yeah, double header.
Yeah, so just talk us through that. That's because
Yeah.
Crosby are still using.
Yeah,
cricket
it's the
pitches,
last
I think.
day of Crosby Cricket having the pitch, so we're doing a double header up at Bala Fletcher for the opening day.
Kick-offs?
1:30 kick-off for the first team, 4 o'clock for the combi, and I think this will be tight. I've got a feeling, and feel free to correct me if Corinthians might have brought a few players in, but I've got a feeling Corinthians will be down there this season. They've got a young squad. They're always going to have good players. The likes of Chester Bell and players like that will still be about. But I think Corinthians, until their FC Alaman players come back in, they might not have the strongest squad this season. So I've got a feeling this will be a close game. Moran are missing a few, I can tell you that. So I'm going to go for a Moran win, but just.
I want to say that so much, Tom.
Are you not going to go with that?
No, I feel this could be a high-score draw.
Oh, I'd take a draw on the opening day.
3-all, something like that.
I'm
or
trying to think
maybe
last
2-all. Any new signs at the Memorial Play?
No, not really. Dino's come back from Castown, which is always nice to see a player
Ryan
return.
Dean,
yeah.
He's not going to bag you 30 goals a season.
He's not. But the thing is, he's come back and he's understood where his.
I'm gonna say left
Crosby
here.
back road, one of my favourites. There's a rule about this road: you can only drive it drunk. No, I'm joking. Joking for all
Right,
the.
I think we should just clarify that we don't endorse drunk driving in any way.
No, Media Alman do not endorse.
We don't endorse Tom in any way either.
Yeah. So yes, score draw for me.
Yeah.
Dave.
Close. I'm going to go with Corinthians. I'm sorry. Sorry, Tom.
Well,
But
Just watch the camera. We're going over a speed bump.
Oh, God.
it's quite a big one as well. It's probably the biggest in around.
You would know, Tom.
Absolute knowledge.
You would know.
Absolute knowledge.
Yeah.
You're all about bumping in
The
around.
second one in Balagary Road is quite big as well. Can I just add?
Right. I'll bear that in mind. Right. So, sorry, we've cleared that game up. Right. Next, Dave.
Do you know what? We'll go.
Because we're circling now, and we've got a whole division to go through yet.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so we'll go to Glen Country Road. We've got St George's versus Ramsey.
I'm not driving to Glen Country Road this time. Yeah, St
If we go that
George's.
way, Mackie's job.
Right, so we're hearing on the Glenvine that St George's have had a bit of a strong summer, and they're going to get 2 teams out this season. I think that's been the indication we've got. That they're going to have a combination side, which they obviously didn't have last season. Johnny is, I think, trying to get the band back together. You know, obviously he's going to have some the Quays, the Bastards and stuff as well. Although I do remember having a conversation with Sean recently where he said that last season might have been his last, so we'll see.
No, we're not. I don't think Manx football's ready for the end of that era yet.
Yeah, the Rolls Royce retiring.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to be strong. Sorry, David, did you say the point? Ramsey, though, what a season they had last year. Anthony Cooper was quite rightly in the mix for the Manager of the Year title at the Football Writers, which we've just been to. Yeah, they just keep kicking on, don't they? They'll want to start with a win, and winning away at St George's would be a good way to start your season, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. I think this is going to be a tough one to call. I think, as you pointed out, Andy, all the signs coming out of Glen Country Road are very positive at the moment. They did well second half of the season last year. I know it was tight at the end. I know Tom was beside himself with grief when St George's beat St John's, but
yeah, it didn't matter in the end because we're doing relegables.
But yeah, like you say, Ramsey, very good side. They just keep going from strength to strength. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the season where they're challenging right at the top.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Ramsey, I think, will be up there, and I think it's going to be. From what I've heard, Geordies have bolstered their squad, and I think they'll be stronger this year. But I think Ramsey are right in the mix this year to win the league. I'm going to go with a comfortable 3-0 Ramsey win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than that. I think Geordie's going to give him a good game, but I think Ramsey will edge this one 2-1.
I think the early season enthusiasm, actually, it depends if everyone's back from holidays, because we're in this August, September, we've always people on holiday.
Yeah.
If everyone's back for St George's, I can see this being a draw, which is not a bad result for either team.
No.
But yeah, I just feel Johnny will have them fired up first game of the season.
Yeah, I think you're right. So obviously one of the award winners tonight was Lee Gale.
Yes.
Peel legend, but has now made the switch to Foxdale.
Mm-hmm.
And so they start.
Yeah,
they start their maiden Premier League campaign for many a year.
Oh, it's their maiden Premier League.
Well, yeah, sorry, yeah, it is. At home to Russian at Billy Goat Park.
Now, Russian seem to have hit a bit of form in pre-season, and it's the big question for me is they can turn that into actual season.
I think they can.
They played well in the Charity Shield by all accounts.
Yeah, sounds like it was a controversial.
Giving them a good praise when we were having a chat before. Moody initially left the role, but his love for the Spaniards shone through, and he's actually taken it on again this season. So fair play to him. They seem to have got a good core of players again. Is it the year, Dave, that we go back to the glorious days of 2010?
The Gareth Jones era.
That they and Burnsy and that they. Am I going left here?
Left here.
Yeah, left here. Yeah.
Yes.
I'd be a terrible taxi driver. Is this the year that they maybe get some more silverware? Because obviously they won the FA Cup last year.
Yeah, I think so. I think there was a lot of speculation pre-season about who would be their manager next
Right
season.
here, Andy.
Yeah, we are taking a whistle-stop tour around Glenmine. There was a lot of speculation as to who would be the manager, but it's remained the same. Moody is still in charge. Had a good season last year, and I think they've got a good squad. It's quite a nice blend of youth and experience. So I think you're right. I think they're going to go far this season. They're definitely a team to watch.
Left here.
It's going to be a tough Premier League debut, I think, for Foxdale. But I know we say this perennially, but I think the question mark's going to be over the pitch at Billy Goat Park. The weather's not been kind, as we all know.
Right here, Andy.
And so, who knows? But they're going to be so confident, Foxdale. They've come up from Division 2. They've got Gale. They've got a good squad there. So, I mean, who knows?
There's a question mark whether this game will be played, though. As in, we've heard rumours that Billy Goat maybe already showing a bit of November form.
Yeah.
So whether this game is switched to Croyt Lowy, as
or even Colby,
the inside man himself, Dean Turton, seems to suggest that Colby could be hosting this game, which does make sense because Governor's Athletic have now moved to Nobles Park full time. So that could be a thing. But as you say, they'll just want this game played now while they have Gale Services, which I believe is 9 games, Tom?
Yeah, 9 games, then he goes travelling and he reckons he's back for 7. So I think he'll be an integral part of Foxdale when he's there. But the problem is
16 games out of 20.
Yeah, you're not complaining. That's my house on the right, Andy, and you've driven past it. That's
right,
fine. We'll keep driving around. Yeah, exactly. It's Ballygar. It's a beautiful estate.
We'll just put this mileage on the company card.
Yeah, exactly. It's not us paying, is it? Yeah, all expenses paid.
It's a man with a dog. I haven't run him over, just to clarify.
Should
I
we
like to think that he's a Brown fan.
Which way do I go?
Right here, yeah.
This is podcast gold, people.
It is.
If this doesn't get this award, nothing will. But yes, so do you know what? I do think though it's crucial where this game is played as to what the bearing outcome of the result.
No, I completely agree, because I think if it's at Foxdale, it's a lot closer result than it is if it's at Russian. But either way, I do think it'll be a Russian win. You know what? I think people are kind of sleeping on Russian almost. I think Danny Lane signing is brilliant. I think he's as much as I'd like to tell Danny Lane right now on the podcast.
The big one? Oh,
no, this one's not too bad. That one's pretty big. I know that's probably about 4th biggest in Moran, in the parish. But no, I think Danny Lane, a couple of others. I think I've got a feeling, and I'm going to call it now. I don't know how to pronounce his second name. I'm going to give it a go. Jamie Cadwallader.
Cadwallader.
Yeah, I think he's going to possibly be my player of the year for the.
Oof, that's a big shout.
It's a big shout, but we've played them in pre-season. He's a good lad, good player, and if he stays the whole season, I know there's talk of him going travelling. He's a strong player, and I think Russian have made the Danny Lane signing's huge. A striker up top, right here if you want to, but you can go straight on if you fancy it.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go up Taylor's Hill.
This isn't Taylor Andrews Hill, by the way.
It used to be Taylor Andrews Hill when he lived here, and then he decided to move elsewhere.
Abscond.
Yeah. When he realised his roots and he was the Moran boy.
Moving on. So the last game in the Premier League It's the Luke Booth derby. It's St Mary's versus Union Mills.
Luke, who was on the bench for FC Alaman on Saturday.
Yeah.
Monday, sorry.
Yeah, and so, sorry, I said St Mary's Union Mills. It's actually Union Mills St Mary's.
No.
Can't get the stuff.
Yeah.
The Union Mills look like they've bolstered the squad. Don McHarry-Brennan, the key signing there, he was a really good player for us, and I noticed his name on the Under-21s trophy a couple seasons ago before Browner. He's a good player, him, and he's a great sign for Mills.
I think Mills might be dark horse. So this, if we go back in recent history of Mills, if my memory serves me correct, so feel free to correct me, I feel like the season before last, they had a really good season under the radar. Was it even in the top 4 mix at one point?
They were challenging for Railway Cup, definitely, yeah.
And then last season, they sort of had the second season syndrome where it didn't really go right, and they were down the bottom, and they were sort of couldn't replicate the season before's form. I think this season, they've, as you said, recruited well, got a good squad there. I feel like they'll be, I think, top 6, top 4 challenges.
I agree, and there's talk of them. A lot of people I speak to seem to think they'll be in the relegation battle, but I think they'll be well clear of that, and I think they'll win on Saturday.
Andy, you spoke to Al Harrison,
yes,
didn't you?
So what my Chinese off on Sunday night.
What a legend! What were his thoughts?
I had bought it.
Well, yeah. Not a freebie based on his podcast appearances.
I have no idea where I am. This Balagari is massive.
It is huge, and it's probably the nicest estate on the island, I'd say. Unbiased opinion there.
I feel like I might be in Port Erin now.
Yeah, you've driven
driving for ages.
Yeah, it's all in the Media Island tab.
Right, go on. So yes,
Al Harrison, what was he saying?
So Al Harrison, he's confident. They've got Frank Jones back full time, obviously after.
What a player he is to have back.
Him leaving. Well, I don't know what to say about this, because obviously I think Frank would have still been in that FC Alaman squad, but decisions were made. He's not anymore. I don't think anything Frank did. It's just I feel like there was a conversation about potentially his age. You know, he is still one of the best central midfielders in the island for me. Have I just gone past your house again?
No, you're not.
So anyway, so he's going to be there. His influence is massive. Carl Clark again. I think Al suggested they'd also signed the Harry Callan.
Oh, the goalkeeper from Bradford.
Yeah, yes,
very good goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think if they get it right on the day, they'll be right up there. I don't just mean Saturday, I mean consistently.
You can turn right here, Andy. I'll take you on a little loop. It's Grieber Avenue, this one.
Spot on.
Yeah,
there's a notice board.
Oh, there is. It should have the Moran Melia poster on. Oh, I've not put it in yet.
Oh, no.
I've put them on a few.
Slacker.
Dave, can you see what's happening in Moran this week?
2 pieces of paper, that's all.
2 pieces of paper happening.
Yeah, that's what's happening. So no, I think we've obviously got Bergquist, a great player. They've got some really good young players. If they can get them consistently playing and playing well, obviously Owen Canoper, there's rumours about potentially him going to Pulley, but we'll see. It's always rumours at this time of year, isn't it?
Especially between Marys and Pulley, isn't it? They'd love to flirt with each other, don't they?
If they keep them
together,
the
Pulley Bakery these days.
I just do think potentially a little bit of squad depth maybe not there yet with St Mary's, but I think this will be a great game on Saturday and a good marker for both teams.
I think you're right.
If you turn right here, Andy, I can show you the new estate.
Oh, lovely.
It's a nice new estate. It
Is
should
this
be all
Ballabeg
open.
Drive?
No, this is a brand new estate with all big houses. So when... Have a look at this.
Tom and Andy are available to hire for driving tours of the Alaman, by the way.
Sorry, we're talking about football. St Mary's.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Whoa, that was a bump.
That's the second biggest speed bump around.
Anyway.
Yeah,
this is going to be a tough game.
This one's a big one as well.
Carpool karaoke's got nothing on us, boys. Bloody hell.
People are going to be being sick.
Oh, there's another in.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Go in the middle of them.
It's all kicking off. Anyway, so St Mary's flew out the traps last season. I was there for their first game of the season away at St John's. They won that 6-0. They laid down a marker and they sort of built on that for the first half of the season.
Yeah.
It's my mate's house.
Whereas
Hi, Brendan.
Union Mills, it was.
Bloody hell, what does Brendan do?
As Andy said, it was a tough game, but I think I'm going to have to sit on the Dave Norton Memorial fence this weekend.
Your fence?
I'm going to call it a draw. I'm sorry, guys.
I feel that's definitely a draw.
Yeah, it'd be tight. I might go for a Mary's win just.
Right. Any more top flight, Dave?
No, that's it. So we're going to move on to the Arden and Kevin Druggan Limited Division 2.
And Arden and Kevin Snapper Druggan Div 2 now.
Division 2.
How brilliant is that?
What a guy.
Yeah, and he's around,
To be fair, if you started sponsoring that before...
That's interesting, isn't it? I've got a feeling he probably thought, Moran will be down there. I'll sponsor that.
Sponsor trophy, win the trophy.
Exactly, but turns out, no. Moran are the unrelegable side again. So
yeah, one of my first ever games covering Manx football was Douglas Royal versus Moran at Nobles Park, and Snapper literally snapped his arm. So,
oh gosh,
that's a happy memory for
it was, yeah. I mean,
I hope you're listening, Snapper. I bet he's not.
So big game in Div 2, the second tier, world's best league. Sorry, Europe's best league, not world.
There are a lot of good, tasty looking games here, but I'm going to have to start Blackberry Lane because we've got Douglas High School Old Boys versus Douglas Royal. I think that's an interesting game.
Well, it's interesting for a variety of reasons, because obviously Douglas Royal, for those of you who have been living under a rock the last 6 weeks, elected to take relegation, take the knee.
AKA accepted a bribe from Tom Curvey.
Yeah. So you come back down into Div 2. We don't know what sort of shape their squad's going to be in. Tom, you've been trying to speak to them this week, haven't you?
Yeah, I have been, and I still don't know.
They've lost a lot of players.
They have, and I think they might just have a first team this year, which is not nice to see, especially for a club who, in reality, are very big. Obviously, Pot Black used to be. They've got a lot of history there. I think it's always a shame, especially with a club like that who've got the facilities that they have. A lot of them have made the move to Nivision to play Onken. Nivision. Oh, yeah, same thing. Yeah, I always get that wrong. I always call it Nivision.
At least once this season, we hope Tom will pronounce it.
Oh, hang on.
There's a notice board we were just at.
Is that the same one?
It's the same one.
Yeah. There's only one notice board around.
Keep going straight, and I can take you back around.
Okay.
But yeah, I think this one be tight. But I've got a feeling Old Boys could be very much up there this season. I think it's one of the bit like similar to last year, and this might be controversial, but I think Division 2, it's no longer as competitive and as not as competitive is the wrong word. It's not as strong as it once was to get out of that league. Now, I think there's a lot of teams like Old Boys that be licking their lips, thinking we could go and win this comfortably.
Well, there's a new man in charge. So Johnny Gartland stepped down.
Dip your lights.
Yeah.
So it's actually Carl Gartland that's in charge this season. So
it wouldn't be right having an Old Boys team without a Gartland.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
So right here.
Right here, yes. Yeah,
so yeah, difficult game to call this. Royal, I just hope that they can regularly field the sides. I just hope that they can sort of find their feet. We've seen it before when teams have gone down, they've needed that season just to sort of regroup.
Right here,
and then they can push on and sort of regain that winning mentality, come back up to the Premier League and consolidate themselves. And I hope that's the case for them. I think in this game, though, I think it's going to be an Old Boys win.
Yes, so do I.
I'm going to go Old Boys win, because I think what we've heard and what we think, it's going to be Royal combi squad from last year.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tough old season, but I don't think they'll be as low as people think. I think they'll still keep a few of their players. The loyal, hardcore Royals ones will stay, and I think Royals could end up being around mid-table.
Next game, it's a stone's throw, if you're pretty good at throwing.
Is that Tom's car?
Yeah, it's not my car. If you keep around the corner, you'll see my car.
Oh, it's got an L plate.
We're not allowed to
I'm not an L plate anymore.
say what Tom's registration plate is, license plate is. A stone's throw from Blackberry Lane. We're going to go to Victoria Road.
Oh,
we've got Braddon.
There's Tom's car.
There's Tom's car. There we go.
We'll pull in and we can do the rest of the Division 2.
Yeah, so we've got Braddon versus Youthy. Braddon versus Youthy is the next game.
Braddon Youthy.
These two will be up there as well. These two will be up there.
You think?
Yeah, I think Youthy will be. They'll keep their core bunch as well. And Braddon, the young team that went down last year, I know they think they only got 9 points or something like that in Div 1, but I still think that Braddon will be. I think Braddon are favourites to go back up this year.
I've parked on a street lamp.
It's worked out. Did you do that
well,
tactically?
what it does, it brings out the AD on your t-shirt, Andy.
Oh yeah, we've got the official merch on today.
You wouldn't see me. Can you even see me in the back there? Yeah.
We can sort of
no
one wants to. Yeah. Sorry, ladies.
Yeah. Right. So yes, Braddon Rush Youthy. I think this will be a draw, but I'm going to slightly err on the side of caution for both these teams, and I think they'll be top half, but I don't think they'll be in that top 4 mix. Paul Henry.
Yeah, I think it's hard to disagree with you, really. I think both clubs are pretty positive going into the season. I know difficult to say that when you've been relegated, but I think Bradham seem to be...
They've got, to be fair, if they can bring on the successful under-16s team, they'll do well. And I think they've blooded quite a lot of them towards the tail end of last year.
Yeah, we've seen that conveyor belt in recent seasons, haven't we?
And if they've kept them together, I feel like they'll do well in Division 2. Tom talked about it before. I do think there's a big step between the two leagues, and potentially bigger than there's been for a long time. So they'll definitely have how should I put this, less of a learning curve in Div 2.
What do you think, Tom?
I think it'll be a Bradham win, but it'll be tight.
Okay, we'll head south now. We'll go for Castletown versus Douglas Athletic at the stadium.
Now, what's Dafka doing?
Well, there are rumours that they might only be able to field one team this season.
But will that be a first team?
Well, again, it's undecided at the moment. I think, for the purpose of this podcast, professional as ever, we'll just have to assume that they're going to be in Division 2.
Because that's what we know of, isn't it? Because the fixture list came out and that's what they had them as. So
yeah, it's difficult to know, but yeah, I think at this point we'll just assume.
But this is an interesting one, isn't it? Because I saw a result in pre-season that shocked me, and it was the only result I've seen in pre-season. And it was Peel 15, Castletown 1.
No, that shocked me as well.
And it threw me completely off because I'm thinking, I'm not sure. Oh, I'm just trying to see if I know. Is that Crabbo? It could be.
Is he in a dry robe?
I was going to say that's like an Arsene Wenger coat there.
No, have you seen that page where on Facebook people that wear dry robes not to go swimming? I'm like, they're specifically designed for people to go swimming in the beach or whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine. Don't wear them in the co-op. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Other convenience stores are available.
You must be sweating your thingamybobs off because it really annoys me.
Well, with Crabtree, there's a nice breeze, so he might be all right tonight.
Well, hang on, let me see I don't know what the temperature is, but I don't know. It must be 13, 14. Dave, how are your lungs?
Well, I'm inside, so I'm okay.
Well, it's 40 degrees in the
put the window
I'm next to the warmth of you two, so I'm okay.
It was certainly hot in the Kelvin
I tell you what, the screen's misting up here. I hope people don't get the wrong idea.
Jane Cave
anyway,
might think
football. We got distracted once again. Castletown. Yes, that result shocked me.
Yeah.
Castletown, I think last season was their chance, and the season before that.
Yeah.
I don't feel
they've lost Danny and Adam Lane as well.
They're not going to go. Is Kinvig still there?
Kinvig's gone.
Apparently not. Yeah.
They're looking for. They're on the search, I think, for a first-team goalkeeper. I think they'll struggle.
So, Andy, this is your time to shine.
No,
get those transfer papers in.
Still signed on it around.
Yeah, good.
So I feel like the problem, that they've missed their boat. I still think they'll be in the top 4.
Yeah, so do I. But only because of how weak the Division 2 is, I think.
And I think they'll win on Saturday.
So do I. Especially Dafka, yeah.
Okay, a couple of miles up the road, we've got Clagvane, we've got Maloo versus Pulley.
This will be
tasty little game.
This will be tasty.
Yeah,
this will be tasty.
Certainly will. McGinn back at Pulley as well. That's the big thing. That's the thing? Yeah, James McGinn back at Pulley with a few. I can imagine he's not gone alone. I know. There's a few.
Has he brought a few pasties with him?
I've got a feeling. Well, they've got Gales Fair now as well, so they've ventured into Peel to attract a few more players. But I've got a feeling this will be tight, but I think it'll be Pulley win. I'm going to go Pulley. I think it'll be stronger this year. James McGinn's not come alone. I reckon he's brought a few of the.
Yeah, you're right.
The Mary's Mafia with him,
don't you? So Maloo though, Dean Kinley factor at home.
Yeah, maybe.
I think this will be a draw, and both teams will finish with less than 11 men.
Yeah, guaranteed.
You took the words out of my mouth, Andy. I'm going to go with that as well.
Yep.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so, I guess we'll head up the coast now. We'll go to Blair Road. We've got Michael versus Colby.
Oh, good game this.
Both will be licking their lips at the season.
Michael perhaps kicking themselves. They didn't go up last season. They've got the player of the division for me, Liam Kane.
Yeah.
Who seems to score for fun. I think they've got to start well and build from that. They started strongly last season, in my memory correct. Yeah. And they just sort of lost their way a little bit in the middle of the season. And I think I spoke to a few guys tonight and I said November to February is a key part for the season for me. When the weather starts turning, it's been terrible all year. But when the weather gets bad, cancellations start racking up, that's when you see a side's mettle, really. And I think Michael perhaps were found slightly wanting in that regard last season. I think they'll beat Colby on Saturday. I think, sorry Adam, but I think they will. I think Colby, though, potentially being that mix as well. For that.
Is now a good time to start a petition for Adam Morton to play a game for Colby this season?
Oh, yeah,
that'd
I'd
be
love
good.
that.
I'd
Yeah,
love that. Yeah, we'd all go down, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Cancel
Yeah.
my own game
Yeah.
that week.
Yeah.
But I've
Mike him up for it.
Yeah.
Now we've
but
got
I'm-
the suspense of new Mike.
But I'm actually going to go the opposite way. I think Michael. I saw a post yesterday or the day before saying they're on the hunt for a first-team goalkeeper, and that makes me think that they've not got anyone to go in the sticks.
Yeah, but then they'll probably like someone like Rob Farragher or someone.
Yeah, I get
They'll
that.
find someone.
But I don't think Michael will be.
And
I think Colby will be up this year.
Tom, if you've got Liam Kane, you're going to score more than the opposition.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
your defence doesn't have to be brilliant.
Exactly, yeah, it could be an 8-7 or something like this game. I get that, but these two teams will be right in the mix to go up this year. I think both of them. So this is a really juicy game.
Although I believe Colby have lost Whitley. Paul Whitley's moved away, so not moved off Ireland, but I think he's moved out of the area.
Adam was telling me today that they've lost and signed on, but he didn't even know who the manager was about a week ago. So little does he know.
Yeah, it's a good club man.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, just Tom, you've mentioned that there's a Moran Melia coming up, and we've identified two clubs there that need a goalkeeper. Can we auction Andy off?
Auction Andy off.
Raise some much needed funds.
How many clubs would turn up if Andy was auctioned off?
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I've got a highlights reel. I could put that together, and then we'll see. We could do it.
We could sell at the Melia.
To be fair, I don't know. It's probably a bit of a at Ball Lake doing the paperwork on that, wouldn't it? I don't think you can do loans in Manx football.
No, I don't think it'd be brilliant if you could, wouldn't it? Imagine a little loan spell for 2 months, see how you get on, put you down to a Div 2 club.
I feel like we should get this in rules revision.
Let's
hit Gilly's round.
Well, Michael United love a rules revision, don't they? So they could be the ones to suggest it.
Okay, next.
Right, so last game in the Arden Kevin Duggan Division 2. It's down at Tremode. It's where one of Adam Morton's favourite teams reside. We've got Jim's, and they take on the mighty D&D.
It's going to be interesting gyms this year.
Yeah, well, what's happening with gyms?
We don't know.
Dave has a bit of insight.
Well, speaking to Tony Mepham, the Mepster, the legend that is, last week, he said that they are also one of the teams that we're not sure of. They're probably going to only field one team, but it's unconfirmed, and we don't know whether it's going to be first team or combi. So, again, like we always are on the podcast, we're a bit vague at the moment, so we'll just have to assume that they are.
I think we should put that on the top. Vague as always.
Yeah.
This out maybe this week's the podcast title. Anyway, yes, the gyms are playing. Sorry, I did.
They got D&D, the mighty D&D, Dave Matheson.
D&D win. I know he's on his holidays. He'll be glued to his phone probably on Saturday.
And he'll definitely be listening, by the way. That's at least one listener we've got.
Yeah.
Other than my grandma.
Well, your mum's listening now.
Yeah, she definitely
sees you at the window.
She's trying to sleep, I think, actually. She's got a big shift tomorrow at the hospital. And she can hear us the Manx Footy Pod live.
We could sell tickets.
Yeah, we could. We'd sell out like the Oasis.
The shopping.
God, if we're still doing this for 30 years, boys, Jesus.
I don't think we'll be getting 51
No,
million.
I don't think we will.
So what we're saying, D&D win for me. And we better wrap this up. I've just seen a message on my phone saying that it was running out of battery.
Well, you guys can finish on the way back if you want.
No,
This is the last game now, mate.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Someone's walking past our steamed up car now.
Oh, God. He's in the dry room. It's Crabbo.
Oh, it's
Hi,
Crabbo.
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 Hey, boy. Let's get a podcast exclusive here, boys.
Crabbo, do you want to say anything to the podcast? He doesn't.
I'll take it back. He wasn't in a dry room. It was just a big coat.
Was it Arsene Wenger style?
I can't believe I got it right. That it was Crabbo. Crabtree there, just making a splash. He'll get on the podcast sometime this week.
Legend.
He's probably thinking, why the fuck are we doing a
Shut that
podcast? He's probably thinking, why are we doing a podcast from the car outside my house? He's thinking we've lost
it
funding.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
It did.
Like all good ideas.
It's very steamy.
So this game, Jim's D&D, I mean, we know that Adam Morton is going to say that Jim's going to lose because that's just what you think. So I'm going to have to sit on Jim's side, but I think D&D are going to be decent this season.
I'll go D&D as well. I've seen a few. They like to post their transfers, don't they? Yeah. And they have made a few, so I think D&D.
This is no disrespect to D&D or Dave Matheson, but they always make a few.
They always do.
Dave finds players. I don't know where. He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He just finds them wherever. But yeah, they do always make a lot of signings.
Dave reads the weather.
Right, folks. Well, I guess you can say it's safe to say that the Manx Grand Prix is finished. The good weather's arrived now. It's looking good for this weekend. Today, Friday, it's going to be dry and sunny, and the same could be said for Saturday. So, fingers crossed, we're going to get a full hit of fixtures.
Dave reads the weather.
So just to wrap it up, so all the games kick off at 2:30, with the exception of Corinthians v Moran at Pal Fletcher, which is a 1:30, which is part of a double header, isn't it, Tom?
It is, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And so the combi game kicks off at 4:00. Other than that, they got St Mary's versus Union Mills at the Bowl, which is a 1:45. Everything else is 2:30. And actually a lot for the first game of the
St
season.
Mary's first team at home.
The combi. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it's back. The season's back. Get down and support your local clubs is what my final message is. And
We're going to hand over to Dave reads the weather in a minute.
Yeah.
yeah.
But also, I'm afraid it does mean Tom's going to be as annoying as ever this season. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean,
We've got to
who'd have
stitch this
thought?
together. Who'd have thought that we'd be recording the first podcast in my car?
Well, I think we're going to go on the road.
I dreamt of this for
Well,
years.
the dream is that. That's quite sad. I like to think that.
On that bombshell.
To top it up.